Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ruchak Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 1 Samuel, the 6th chapter. And in here, the ark is, in this chapter, it basically covers the ark being returned, and basically how the Lord did it. Although, it also highlights the severity, right, and the seriousness of the Lord, right? Because as we'll see, the judgment He brought upon those of, I believe it was Beth Shemesh, for having looked upon the ark. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 6, verse 1. And the ark of the Lord Yahweh was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. So as we sort of traced and followed, how the Philistines brought the ark into Ashdod, then to Gath, then to Ekron, and basically as it dwelt in their territory, it was about the span of 7 months. And the Philistines called for the priests and for the diviners, and the diviners were basically like their prophets or magi's or wise men who could, to divine would be like tell them the future, right, or things, have a deeper insight into things that the average person wouldn't, through mainly left-handed practices. So they called him, right, saying, "What shall we do to the ark of the Lord Yahweh? Tell us, wherewith shall we send it to his place?" So how can we return it? Because clearly it's been causing us nothing but hell. And they said, "If ye send away the ark of the God of Israel, send it not empty, but in any wise return him a trespass offering." So you got it. You can't just send it back, because by taking the ark as it belonged to them, to Israel, that is, you trespassed. And so in returning it, you must offer a trespass offering. Then shall ye be healed, and it shall be known to you why his hand is not removed from you. So by doing this, you'll finally get that break, and then you understand why it is the Lord kept plaguing you, because you had his ark in your possession, and it didn't belong to you. Verse 4, then said they, "What shall be the trespass offering which we shall return to him?" They answered, 5 golden emerods and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For one plague was on you all, and on your lords. So just as you all were plagued with the same plague, with the emerods, and also mice devouring your land, basically make 5 golden emerods and 5 golden mice as your trespass offering. Wherefore ye shall make images of your emerods and images of your mice that mar the land. And what this means is it's similar to how they would make an idol, but this wasn't for idolatrous purposes, right? So they would, as it says, make images, which would be, in this case, whether they would carve it out, right, in the shape of an emerald or of a mouse. And he shall give glory unto the God of Israel. Peradventure he will lighten his hand from off you, and from off your gods, and from off your land. And the lightening of his hand would be to ease the judgment from off you. Wherefore then do ye harden your hearts as the Egyptians, and Pharaoh hardened their hearts. Now mind you, these are the Philistines, right? Their elders and their diviners that they're speaking with. And they're telling them, basically recounting what the Lord did to Egypt, saying, why are you being hard-hearted like the Egyptians, and Pharaoh? When he had wrought wonderfully among them, did they not let the people go, and they departed? So, even after all of that, when you look at what Pharaoh did, after the Lord brought plagues upon them, didn't they end up just letting the people go? That is Israel. Now therefore make a new cart, and take 2 milch kine, and the cart being like an actual cart, although then it was made of wood. And as it says, take two milch kine. Now, milch kine is like a cow, typically a mother that is like in the breastfeeding, stage. She's milking, you could say. So basically, a mother that had just given birth and was in the process of like, um, you know, providing that milk for her calves. So they said, take two of those on which there hath come no yoke. So these cows haven't ever been put under a yoke, as in for work. So number one, they wouldn't really know, you know, how to do that, right? And tie the kine to the cart and bring their calves home from them, meaning separate their calves, because when you take the mother, the calves will be with it. So here they said separate the calves and keep them back in their holding areas, and just bring the the mothers. Now there's a reason they did this specifically, because they wanted to test to see if this was truly, like a divinely inspired judgment. And if it was, then whatever they would be doing here, it would go through, right? As we're going to continue to read. So by taking two female cows that were in milking, you could say, as mothers that had just given birth, and that no yoke had come upon them, meaning they weren't trained in how to, because when you put a yoke on the cow, it's usually to pull the plow, right? But they weren't trained in how to do that. You actually have to train the oxen or the cow or whatnot in how to do that. So number one, they would be worried about their children. As it says, you're separating their calves from them. So their instinct would be to return back, if anything, even if you tie them to the cart. Number one, they're not going to know how to pull it right, how to move basically in unison with each other. So one is not going in an opposite direction and another going up, and causing the cart to like fall over or anything like that. Number two, instinctively, they might just want to return back to the home or the holding area to their calves. So by taking these cows in this specific case, if they still went towards, as we're about to read, towards Israel to return the ark, then they would know that truly this is like a divinely inspired thing, because by naturally that wouldn't happen. A cow that is untrained in pulling a cart, that has just given birth, ain't no way it's going to leave its home and go all the way to the territory of Israel and know exactly where to go with the ark. Verse 8, and take the ark of the Lord Yahweh and lay it upon the cart, and put the jewels of gold, which ye return him for a trespass offering, in a coffer by the side thereof. And a coffer goes into like a chest or a box. And send it away that it may go. And see, if it goeth up by the way of his own coast to Beth Shemesh, meaning if they go towards his own coast, meaning where the ark came from, back to their land in Israel, to Beth Shemesh, which when we pull up the map, you'll see it was more eastward from them, right here, crossing the coast of the territory of the Philistines into that of Israel. So if it goes there, then he hath done us this great evil. So if indeed these oxen or these cows do go accordingly and go directly to the territory, like they don't go any other way, they don't go in reverse, but they go towards Israel to return that ark, then that's a sign that indeed this was the God of Israel that was doing this. But if not, then we shall know that it is not his hand that smote us. It was a chance that happened to us. So then it was just coincidence that this happened. This wasn't like any divine judgment from the God of Israel. And the men did so, and took two milch kine, and tied them to the cart, and shut up their calves at home. And they laid the ark of the Lord Yahweh upon the cart, and the coffer with the mice of gold and the images of their emerods. And the kine took the straight way to the way of Beth Shemesh, and went along the highway, lowing as they went. Because remember, they were still mothers. So lowing is like the sounds that cows make, moo, and sometimes they do that when they're in distress. All right. So you can imagine that basically, if the cows had it their way, they'd go back. But the Spirit of the Lord was upon them to return that ark. So they went and took it to Beth Shemesh and turned not aside to the right hand or to the left. So they just kept going straight in that direction. They didn't deviate to the right, they didn't deviate to the left, they didn't get distracted. They just went to Beth Shemesh. And the lords of the Philistines went after them onto the border of Beth Shemesh. So they wanted to confirm to see if truly the cows would go all the way, and then they could confirm that, oh shoot, this was really the God of Israel doing this. And they of Beth Shemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley. So during harvest time, they're using a sickle, they're cutting the sheaves, they binding it up. And they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark and rejoiced to see it. Because mind you, it had been 7 months since it was taken, give or take. And the cart came into the field of Joshua, a Bethshemite, and stood there, where there was a great stone. And they clave the wood of the cart, showing you the cart was made of wood. So they basically broke it up and then took the wood that it came with and offered the cows, a burnt offering unto the Lord Yahweh. So I guess they didn't get to go back and see their calves. So they basically ended up offering the cows as a burnt offering unto the Lord. And the Levites took down the ark of the Lord Yahweh and the coffer that was with it, wherein the jewels of gold were, and put them on the great stone. And the men of Beth Shemesh offered burnt offerings and sacrificed sacrifices the same day unto the Lord Yahweh. And when the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen it, they returned to Ekron the same day. And these are the golden emerods which the Philistines returned for a trespass offering unto the Lord Yahweh, for Ashdod 1, for Gaza 1, for Ashkelon 1, for Gath 1, for Ekron 1. And the golden mice, according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines belonging to the 5 lords, both of fenced cities and of country villages, even onto the great stone of Abel. So all that territory where they were plagued, they made a mice for each, whereon they set down the ark of the Lord, which stone remaineth unto this day. So there was this great stone, right, where when in Beth Shemesh, or where I think it's even in here. Okay, maybe they don't show it exactly in here. But when the ark returned, they set it on there, on that stone. Which stone remaineth unto this day in the field of Joshua the Bethshemite. And he smote, this is the Lord, he smote the men of Beth Shemesh because they had looked into the ark of the Lord Yahweh. Even he smote of the people 50,000 and 70 men. That's 50,000, what's that, and 70. And the men lamented because the Lord Yahweh had smitten many of the people with a great slaughter. Now, that's why I mentioned the part, how particular the Lord is, because, I believe even when you go into the book of Numbers, when the Lord, I think the 4th chapter, when the Lord had Aaron and his sons, I believe, if I remember correctly, cover up the holy things, right? He mentioned, right, that while that covering was going on, nobody else was to go in there and see it uncovered, lest they die. So the Lord is very particular when it comes to these things, the things that have been consecrated and holy. So, taking the ark, the priest that did that was fine, but looking into the ark, caused that judgment to come upon them. And the men of Beth Shemesh said, who is able to stand before the holy Lord Yahweh? And to whom shall he go up from us? So, clearly after that, they were like, nah, this is too much for us. So they were inquiring, like, well, where can we send the ark? Where it's like like how it was in Shiloh, right? And that way we don't transgress or do anything that can bring this kind of judgment upon us from the Lord again. And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kirjath Jearim, saying, The Philistines have brought again the ark of the Lord Yahweh. Come ye down and fetch it up to you. So please come and get the ark, and Kirjath Jearim is over here. Basically, come and get the ark and take it over there. And that's the end of 1 Samuel, the 6th chapter. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh. And until next time, Shalom.